Hey, this is Arthur Hill, Chief Technical Strategist at TrendInvestorPro.com. This video is for Saturday, December 12th. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you like this video, please hit that thumbs up button and consider subscribing. So today I want to talk about the Bollinger Band squeeze that is occurring in 4 big tech stocks and how we want to trade it. I want to show you where I get my directional bias. Of course, it's based on the longer term uptrends. Also, we're going to look at the market bias and the sector bias. And then we're going to look at the pattern that might be in play on the charts and also how we get a signal from the Bollinger Bands. Let's hit the charts. So first of all, I want to get a directional bias based on the overall stock market trend and the sector trend. And then we'll look at the individual stock trend. But if we look here on this chart, first of all, we got SPY. We use that as our proxy for the market. I mean, come on, it hit a 52-week high here in early December. It broke out of a triangle consolidation. It's above the rising 200-day. I think we're in a bull market based on that basic evidence. And QQQ hit a 52-week high in early December and also has a breakout working. So it's also bullish. And then the sector XLK corrected. And after this big advance, you're entitled to a correction. You deserved it. And so this correction basically digested this big advance and prepared the way for the next move higher. And we're getting a breakout there. So, I mean, this is all systems go as long as that breakout holds. And as long as that breakout holds, I don't think the bears have a leg to stand on right now. So now let's look at the Bollinger Band squeeze. On this chart here in pink, we have the Bollinger Bands, standard issue Bollinger Bands, 20 to 20 period moving average in the middle, 2 standard deviations above and below. And then down in the indicator window, we have Bollinger Band width. And I've set this at 10. It's quite subjective where you set it because it will differ based on the stock's volatility. Some stocks will have a Bollinger Band squeeze when bandwidth gets below 5. Some will have a squeeze when it gets below 10. It depends on the volatility of the stock. And so if you look over the past almost a year, 11 months here, you can see when you get below 10, you've had a Bollinger Band squeeze of sorts. And then you look on the chart, you can see the bands came together there in June, and then we got a break above the upper band. We had a squeeze here into late July, and then a big surge above the upper band. Now, the bias was bullish going into this because we were above the 200-day moving average. We were near a 52-week high here in June. We were at a 52-week high in July. But you can also see that in February, the bias was bullish. We were above the 200-day. We're in a long-term uptrend. But instead of breaking to the upside, we got a break to the downside. So usually that is your first short-term signal, is the direction of the break. Now, sure, this would have been a great short position on a trade if you had shorted on this. But I don't think I would have taken it because we were in a bull market environment. And actually, we did turn into a bear market environment a little bit later in February and March. But that was a pretty early signal. And that's why you can see we get the squeeze here and we got a break to the upside. So one of the things we're looking for is the pattern, and we're also looking for the direction of the breakout. So the first thing is the direction of the breakout of the band. And so that's above the upper band after the squeeze. And so that tells you that you've had a volatility contraction and we're breaking out, and now we're getting a volatility expansion. And you can also see this triangle formation. We broke out of it as well. And so I think as long as we hold this low here, that breakout is bullish until proven otherwise. So just a little preview of TrendInvestorPro.com. If you're interested, please check out the website. We've got a lot to offer. You can see there's the weekend video and chart book. I'm looking at evidence versus signs of excess. And we have our market timing report on Fridays, a big ETF report on Thursdays, where we go through some 60 ETFs and put the different chart patterns and trends together. And then on Tuesday, I had a video on identifying trend changes and then tradable pullbacks within the uptrends. And I focused on some of these high beta ETFs like the ARC ETFs and the clean energy ETFs. So that's also an interesting take available for subscribers. And there's some free stuff as well. Now I want to turn to the three other stocks that have the Bollinger Band squeeze. The first is Amazon. And as you can see, you had a squeeze in January, very, very tight squeeze, getting below 10, well below 10. And so the squeeze is an alert for a potential breakout. And yeah, it would have been hard to chase that gap. But if we look here, we had a 52-week high and then a squeeze in May. And then we had a break above the upper band. So that was a bullish signal. Even though you fall back into the band, no big deal. But we had another squeeze a few weeks later and another break above the upper band. And then you can see we walk up the band. And John Bollinger mentions this in his book, where you walk up the band. And so, once you get the breakout, you would put your stop loss and then trail it and look for some sort of an exit along the way. And if we look now, we can see we've got another band squeeze because the Bollinger Bands have narrowed to their narrowest since February. And so we've got this triangle, symmetrical triangle forming a bigger bullish continuation pattern. We're at support. Now, even if we broke the lower band, I probably wouldn't be interested in shorting Amazon because we're in a bull market. The bigger trend for technology is up, for consumer discretionary it is up, and Amazon is above its rising 200-day. So I probably would pass on a short position, and I'd watch this band. If we get a break above the upper band, that's going to be bullish. Got a little resistance level there too. If you get a breakout there, that would also be bullish. So now we move to Microsoft, and Microsoft is not quite as volatile. And you can see the bandwidth is set there at 6. And so I'm looking for a move below 6 to show a Bollinger Band squeeze. And we can see that we had one there in late or in early February. And then we had one in late May, early June. And this one coincided with a pattern. I like to get a pattern like a flag. That was kind of a flag wedge pennant thing. And then we got the break above the upper band and hug the upper band. And we can see now that we've been consolidating with a symmetrical triangle. And that's a very narrow range the last 4 weeks. So Bollinger Bands have narrowed as well, you can see. And so I'm watching this one for an upside breakout. And again, I wouldn't be interested in shorting on a downside break because we're in a bull market and QQQ and XLK are also in bull markets. And finally, NVIDIA. And this is one that actually broke the lower band. And part of trading is knowing what signals to ignore and what to take. So you can see, here's NVIDIA. You get a squeeze and a nice pennant and a breakout and a move to new highs. And then we get this consolidation. And it actually looks like an ascending triangle, which is a classic bullish continuation pattern. We're at support. And even though we did break the lower band, I'm not interested in shorting NVIDIA, especially not with SOX, semiconductors so strong. So I would watch for a bounce off support and a break above that upper band. Again, I want to err on the bullish side in a bull market. So as you can see from these charts, Apple is the clear leader because it already has a breakout working. The other three are still stuck in these consolidations and they're closer to their September lows, which is a support zone of sorts. So that's why I'm watching them very closely for some sort of upside catalyst. So again, if you like this video, please hit that thumbs up button below and consider subscribing. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and check out trendinvestorpro.com if you'd like to know more about our services. Have a great day.